Is it today? Hey,
This meeting is being recorded.
Just to double check, I just want to check all my panelists in. Mrs. Nongeta, are you in?
I'm in, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Tabiso. Tabiso Moloi. Calling for 5 minutes. I can see our doctor is in.
Yes, I'm in.
Thank you, doctor. Welcome, welcome. Mrs. Radeve is in also. Stand to be corrected, Julius. Mrs. Radebene.
No, it's Mr. Hatebe. You talk about Mzwandile.
Oh.
Yeah,
No,
I'm in.
our
I'm here.
panelist.
Oh, our panelist.
No,
I'm in touch with the community member who's a panelist. Is trying to log in now.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, without much waste of our time, I will hand over to our facilitator of today, Mr. Mzwandile. Mr. Mzwandile, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. And let me send my warm greetings to everyone attending. I'm just gonna share a video of myself as a facilitator, just to see who is the facilitator today. I'm really excited with this opportunity, and I thank you very much for joining us. And I hope my panel members, they are all here. I didn't get an indication for Miss Mbali Maseko. Is Miss Mbali Maseko here?
I'm in.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I just want to share, if possible, if the network and our gadget permit us, can my panel members display their video, please, so that the audience can see who are part of this discussion, if possible. Okay, while they work on that, let me take this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to really emphasize, the joy and excitement as librarians, that this week we are celebrating our Library Week, which has started on the 18th to the 24th of March. This is our moment where we celebrate the services and activities and programs that we offer to our communities that we serve. And really, this week, it is the time that we must also emphasize the importance of the resources that we have in our libraries and sharing with the community. And this year's Library Week theme is Libraries Foster Social Cohesion. And under that, we came up with a sub-theme which is for this discussion, which is librarians connecting the community, the librarians connecting the community with the library. So the library alone, it can have all these resources, but if we are not taking those resources down to the community, explaining, coding those information to our members in order to utilize our services, libraries will just be buildings standing there, and people will think that is another building that the government has abandoned. But our role as librarians is to ensure that we communicate this information to our community members, and we ensure that we fully understand the community that we operate in, and understand the background and the diversification of the community members. And today, I'm happy and excited to share with you this discussion as I'll be having my panel members. And let me go ahead and introduce my panel members. And I hope Mr. Sifiso Kaba is managed to log in. So in the meantime, I will just read his bio. Mr. Sifiso Kaba is a public speaker, youth activist, social economic commentator, and a leadership coach. He believes in the cause of economic freedom and emancipation. Our second speaker is Mr. Julius Mkhize. Mr. Julius, are you with us?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Oh, thank you. Mr. Julius Mkhize is currently employed as a librarian at Alabocha Public Library in Villiers by the Department of Sport, Arts, Culture and Recreation. He's with more than 10-year working experience combined in academic, special and public and community libraries. Currently, he holds honors BTech and national diploma in library and information studies. Our third panel member is Ms. Ntabiseng Nonket. Hopefully I spelled that correctly. She's currently employed as a librarian at Unity Primary Dual Purpose Library by the Department of Sport, Arts, Culture and Recreation, and she holds a BA in Information Science with University of South Africa. The fourth panel member is Mr. Thabiso Moloi. Mr. Thabiso Moloi, he's currently employed as a library assistant in Sechaba Mahube Public Library by the Department of Sport, Arts, Culture and Recreation, currently studying honors degree in Information Science with the University of South Africa. Our fifth panel member is Ms. Mbali Maseko. She's currently employed as an assistant librarian at Buhlokong Public Public Library by the Tlhabeng Municipality. She holds a Bachelor of Business Administration specializing in human resource management and a qualified financial planner. Very interesting. Our last panel member is Dr. Let me be careful here. It's Dr. Molaudi Margaret Matubako. My apologies. It's a very beautiful name. She is employed as a coordinator overseeing the management of the 5 branch libraries within the Mangaung Metropolitan Municipality in Bloemfontein. She holds a doctoral degree in information science from UNISA, from University of South Africa. She is an established literary scholar who contributed to some of the library and information journal publications. Let's welcome our panel members, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I think now it's okay. You can switch off your videos. I think everyone did get a glimpse in terms of how the panel members look like. Let me start our discussion by welcoming you all. And I'm gonna start with Dr. Matubako. Doctor, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, doctor.
Okay, good day, everybody. I'm fine, sir. And how are you?
We are good, doctor. I'm good.
Thank you.
Yes, doctor, I just want to ask you this open-handed question in terms of, since you are coordinating 5 branch libraries, how is the mood this week since we're celebrating Library Week?
I think we are also using the radio local station to celebrate the Library Week. They've been talking about it ever since Monday. The other thing with us is that maybe we are struggling with we have so many shortage of staff, so we don't have
Yeah.
that plan. Yeah, except only to put the exhibitions in the library so that people can know that we are celebrating Library Week, and it is also an amnesty week for fine-free week for our communities.
Okay, that is really interesting. So just to ask a question, Doctor, in terms of the libraries, how are we going about supporting individuals in finding common grounds and building a strong relationship with the community to support and encourage social cohesion in the libraries that you work with?
You know, if we check our IFLA UNESCO Manifest for Public Libraries that was edited in 2022, it stipulates that we should follow, what is it that the libraries should follow in the 21st century? And also, how are we embracing this social cohesion? Because we realize that we are also fighting against inequalities. If we check in our communities, we have social exclusion, cultural exclusion, and we also have digital exclusion because most of the people, they don't even have smartphones. Now, when we check, I was checking something that was indicating how many people are having smartphones in Africa. I was shocked to realize that it's only Mauritius where 51% of their community are having smartphones and even computers at home. And then South Africa is 36. We didn't even think that we can have 36% of people who are only having smartphones. So I think that's where we as librarians, we need to come up and then maybe embrace these technologies. But let me start with the senior citizens. You'll find that I call them the new forgotten people of the developed society because we don't most of the time maybe develop them or empower them because we feel that they are old. But I think from the technologies that we have and from the Mzansi Libraries online training that I got, we can also invite the senior citizens to come to the library, and then we can also teach them basic computer skills. The other group is young and approaching community members. I'm talking about the youth. They are also suffering from the social exclusion because these are AMA 2000. And when we talk about AMA 2000, we say, oh, are those people? And they seek attention from us because they have this distracted attitude. So I think maybe we as librarians, this is the time for us to go to them and say, how can we help you? Because remember, most of them, you finish school and then you stay at home and there is nothing. So the only thing that you can do now is to do drugs or maybe to do crime. But we as librarians, we can go there and ask them, what can we do for you? Because we have so many resources, we have skills. The other thing, we also support the small businesses and entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs. And sometimes we don't even think that we support them, but we remember that we provide space for them, especially for these people who are looking for jobs. We also provide the ICT infrastructure because that's where they can create the emails and they can check the vacancies, job vacancies. We are also bridging the digital divide. Like I've mentioned that 36 is at, South Africa is at 36% of the people who are having smartphones. So now what we do as the library, we ensure that these individuals from the socio-economic background have access, equal access. The most important thing is equal access to the opportunities presented by the digital world. Remember that we provide free internet access and we also provide Wi-Fi. So by so doing, we are also participating in the digital economy. Another thing is that I don't know whether we know that we are champions of cost savings. Because remember that people cannot even afford to buy books at their homes, but we purchase books on their behalf. And by so doing, we provide them free access to information. We also even provide them with entertainment. Remember, we have DVDs. We can even have DVD shows at our libraries. We also support the educational system by providing educational resources. So by so doing, we elevate the financial burden of purchasing books or maybe purchasing something that is not even relevant to their well-being. So the other thing that I realized from these 5 libraries that I'm coordinating, We also support the cultural events, because we find that we have artists in our community will come to the library, and then we provide them also with space. And then they can also, it's part of marketing and promotional support that we do. And then we are also a vibrant centers of human connection. I know when I was in Thabo Mofokeng, I think it's 2 or 3 libraries that said to me, there is no any other development or any other activity that they can do, but the library is the only hope for them. So it means we are also providing lifelong learning. And then I will emphasize the cultural enrichment and also the community cohesion. And then the other thing is that we provide community gathering spaces. Remember, we have halls. So people will come and have the discussions. People will come and do the skills development. We also provide even space for other governmental departments. So by so doing, we promote inclusivity and we celebrate diversity. We also support the people who are vulnerable. I know there are libraries that will provide soup, and food to those people who are vulnerable. And then we also provide guidance, because they will come to the library and ask assistance. And then we also provide social service referrals, because we'll tell them that, okay, if you want to go to SASA, you can go to this place. I think lastly, I can say we are also promoting the democratic participation. Some of our libraries now are going to be polling spaces during the elections. So somehow we are encouraging civic engagement, and we are also providing resources on voting. But the other thing that I also, before I can just leave the space, we need to be tech experts, the librarians, because I don't even know that we are digital literate or we are only computer literate. And then we should now become emerging technologies libraries. I don't know if we are ready, including myself, because people are calling us to go expect. So we should maybe check when we sit down that are we really go to expect? Because I know that we are information literacy guardians, but are we tech experts? Thank you.
That's a very valid point, because even today, you know, when we work with our colleagues, you will find that even our IT controllers, they will go to libraries just to think that they're going to fix a computer, and they're just going to pull in the plug because it was mistakenly pulled out. So I think that is a skill that we need to take into consideration. But also another point that you just mentioned, Doctor, is that we need to celebrate, these diverse cultures that we find ourselves serving, because I have seen in the Free State that we celebrate Basotho culture, we celebrate, Zulu cultures, but I haven't seen, celebrating the Indian culture, and we do have Indian communities and colored communities in our areas. I think we need to work on that. Let me jump to Mr. Julius Mkhize. Mr. Julius, in your library, I just want to find out in terms of what other initiative or partnership that you have formed in order to undertake to promote the social cohesion and the community engagement, especially with your activities and programs that you are involved in.
Thank you, Mr. Mzandile. Good day, everyone. Some of the initiatives that we have taken to address or foster social cohesion is facilitating social cohesion through information technology, by trying to bridge the digital divide by offering programs that address, for example, computer literacy programs, where we train people on basic skills on how to use computers. Because I like the point that was made by our previous speaker about addressing financial issues. Because you get community members who need to apply for jobs, who can't type CVs, who can't apply for jobs online, who can't use emails, and they end up going to internet cafes and pay for such a service while they have a free service at the library. So that's where we come in terms of facilitating social cohesion through information technology, and not just only providing training, but also providing tools such as tablets, computers, together with the internet and Wi-Fi access, so that people can be able to perform whatever activity that they need to do in terms of their social well-being. Other initiatives include information literacy training skills. Basically, it's more about assisting, especially schools, which we are partnering with them in terms of helping learners on how to find information, how to evaluate information, to check the authenticity of the sources that they are using to answer questions based on their school projects. In relation to social cohesion, that assists them when we provide information literacy training skills to make good decisions, to be able to solve problems, and also acquire knowledge in the process. I think some of the partnerships that we have formed through stakeholders such as the local municipality, where we provide them with space whenever they need to provide training to people like those ones who are having small businesses. Obviously, the library is a conducive place to work in because they also able to connect to our Wi-Fi for free. We also have partnerships with educare centers. Remember those ones, they don't have libraries as compared to schools, because some of the schools do have their libraries, but they are not well organized as us. So we provide them with block loans so that they're able to borrow 30 books for a month so that they can assist in terms of reading literacy for their children who are attending their educare centers. Some of the existing programs through reading festival programs which support educational programs where schools are invited to participate in our programs from a local level to the provincial level. I think having a conscious community, knowing what is happening around them, gets them involved in terms of wanting to seek information. And that's where we come in as libraries to assist them with such needs. I think most of the important thing here is, since our theme is fostering social cohesion, we address the social capital matter, which is bringing together people who share common goals, who want to achieve a common purpose, by providing resources and information so that there is ease in connectivity between the library and the community. I think I will end there, Mr. Mzwandile. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. It's quite interesting, on the point that you just made, that we, as the Free State Libraries has this powerful program that our community love, and they really can't wait to take part in. They are already calling in the district, asking when actually are they starting with the reading festival. It's one of the programs that is really pushing and promoting social cohesion. Let me get to Ms. Ntabiseng. Ms. Ntabiseng, in terms of the programs, as some of the programs alluded by Julius, how then do we involve the community in order to promote our programs and activities, also to foster social cohesion and unity?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Good afternoon, colleagues. Let me first off, start off by saying, I heard you asked me, Dr. Maktubaka, how is the mood this week in their library?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm working in a dual purpose library. I'm based in a school environment. So this week it has been a mad fun. We have been having fun with the activities with the kids and with the teachers, and the school came on board, and the celebrations were just out of this world. But coming back to your question that you have asked, let me start off again by saying, in the days that we are living in, access to information has become a human right, because it talks to the redistribution of power and changing the social status as well as other status of people that we are serving. So the programs that we are involved with, let me say, because like I'm based in a school environment, the partnership that I do have, the first one has to be with the parents, because I'm working with small kids. I'm working with minors, so the parents are the first stop to partnership. And in whatever that I want to do, whatever program that I want to implement, I have to get their go ahead, so that I don't get into trouble with Poppy Act and all of the acts that are there. So the parents are number one. They are the number one partners that we have. And then we run the program with them. And once you have communicated your vision with the parents, then it becomes easier because the parents will talk to their siblings, to their children, their brothers and sisters in the house. So that as well will also make the partnership strong, because the students will come into the library and access the information that they need. The tertiary students, they will come and then they will apply for NSFAS or apply for the universities or wherever they want to go. So that as well is the partnership that we do have, and the engagement that we have with them. The second one, I would say, it is, I heard you talking about the cultural events.
Yes.
Yes, the cultural events. We are partnering with the NGOs in the school or in the dual purpose library that I am in. There's an NGOs that are also doing what we relatively do, and we are partnering with them. They are called CHAMSA. And together with them, we have we have celebrated the cultural event where we have invited people like Mr. Zexmda, Professor Zexmda, and then just an example, he was here, and we invited this old citizen, sorry about that. We invited old people to come and to share their stories, and to come and share their information with the kids, Diloto and IDOMS and all of those things. So they becoming part of us, because we are sharing the same goal, which is improving our community, or the community that we find ourselves in. So it's such programs that we do where I am, where we include the school, number one, we include the community, the parents, and we include the NGOs. to work together towards the common goal, which then talks to social cohesion. I don't know if I'm answering your questions in that.
No, thank you very much, Mayor. You did touch, especially even giving us a huge hint in terms of the Poppy Act. You know, I remember with Dr. We had this discussion at some point where I was taking them photos in an AGM, and then he said, "You didn't ask for my permission to take a photo." So that was a learning curve, since at that time the Poppy Act was implemented. So thank you very much for bringing that up, which means that even though we take part in these activities that we plan, we also have to be careful in terms of working with the learners and the parents and other stakeholders to indicate that we also need, you know, to form to form a portfolio of evidence, you know, through photos that we were there and then this was happening, so that people are aware that there are photos that are going to be taken. But thank you for that note. Let me invite Mr. Thabiso Mloyi. Mr. Thabiso Mloyi, let's now unpack, you know, the issue of activities and programs, because in order for us to get to our communities, we need to go in with a certain vision, which we, you know, package everything in a form of an activity that seek to involve the community. And in those, in terms of the connection and the collaboration with different groups, how do you go about, especially when you conducting those activities? Mr. Mloyi? Okay, Mr. Mloyi is not in. Let me pose the same question to Miss Mbali Maseko.
Okay, thank you so much, Zwei. So with regard to building these collaborations, I think when I read the question, I was like, there's actually so much work to be done, especially within our public library spaces in our community. Because I think the relationships are there, but they aren't being maintained. And I think our communities aren't necessarily captured as far as the libraries go. So I think currently you do get outreaches that we go to creatures whereby we engage with kids in storytelling sessions and all of that. But like I said, I think my focus was more in the work that still needs to be done. And I think how we can still do that or bring it in is by making sure that events are being hosted at our libraries. We have book clubs in our communities that we might not know of. I think it's very important that we capture those book clubs and make sure that their meetings are not happening at coffee shops, you know, that we bring them into our libraries, whether it's workshops and discussions of similar groups or groups that are different, but we need to bring those people in our library and make sure that they also meet up with people with shared interests. Another idea that I think we really need to start fostering or encouraging is volunteering. Having people come through and collaborate with the libraries on their projects and programs, which eventually will foster a teamwork participation amongst the library staff and our community. So yeah, collaborative projects are very important. So we need to work on that to make sure that we capture our communities in those areas as well. The utilization of our digital resources, I think, is a big one in our libraries. We do get people that come in and use internet a lot. In our public library, we not only we don't just offer the services of in-house internet use via our computers. We also do this by offering Wi-Fi token facilities whereby a user can come in, maybe they want to use something or do something quickly on their phones. we offer those tokens that last for an X amount of time that they can get to use. And you see more and more people and youth coming in. And initially, it was a worry for us because we thought, are they really using it for things that are of importance, or is it just WhatsApp with friends? But you use such concern to build relationships with people that come in and like, hey, I see you come in a lot of times. You always want the token. What's going on? Are you doing something? Do you need help with something? And a lot of our youth that come in a lot of times is to what you might call is to get connected somewhere. No, I saw there's a post somewhere. Oh no, we have like 3 gents that come in and join TED Talks. So that's what they do a lot of times with our token. So I love the fact that the utilization of our digital resources are being used, and that it's not going to waste, and I think just overall interaction with staff, I think we shouldn't hold back. You shouldn't just see somebody walk in and walk out and they become a regular. We should build those relationships with our communities, so that eventually, when the person comes in and a certain group, you get to connect them with individual or groups with relevant resources or facilities that could advance them in whatever interest that they have. So yeah, I think overall, just leveraging the resources and opportunities individuals or groups can really foster a connection and share knowledge and strengthen the relationships that we have in our community.
Thank you very much for that input. Let me welcome participants who have joined in and are part of this discussion. And also, let me also indicate that audience will be given an opportunity to ask our panel members questions or comment or a view or point of view that you would like to share based on the topic that we're discussing. And also, even panel members, you will also be given an opportunity to either clarify a point or ask a question or just share a point of view based on what other panel members has also shared. The interesting thing about the panel members of our discussion is that we didn't only include librarians, we didn't only include our doctor who is at the management level, to give us the more insight in terms of how she go about managing libraries. But also, we have a community member, someone that we serve or someone that represents the community, and they look into the fact that is the library benefiting them or not. Let me welcome Mr. Sfiso Klaba. Mr. Sfiso Klaba, are you with us?
Thank you very much, sir. I am definitely here. Yeah, no, I'm here. I don't know if you wanted me to share my view or you just wanted to check for now if I'm with you.
I just wanted you to check if you are with us, but I do welcome in terms of maybe you can give us an overview in terms of the atmosphere when it comes to library services, and before and after sharing that, you can get to your point.
Oh, okay. No, thank you very much, sir. I think largely what Dr. Matubako did when she came in at first and hit a couple of points. Actually, she hit the whole ancient ladder. So she was touching on the premise of what is most important in line with the question of social cohesion and the role of libraries therein. That is within rather a short or rather a brief explanation of what is the bone of contention as far as our discussion for today. So one of the major things that I feel we need to pay careful attention to is the fact that society in its broad sense has got different divisions of it, and the different divisions of society have different needs. Also, each and every community has its different needs. So communities are almost like amoebas. Based on where they are found, they take a different certain type of form and shape. So that will also dictate the for a lack of better word, the spatial information or rather groupings that you find. So in other communities, you find
Mm.
the elderly people, then the extremely younger people, but the youth
Yeah.
migrate out of that community due to its socio-economic shape. All in a nutshell to say, there is a lot that we need to look into in as far as expanding the arms of the library and how they can be used as a form of social cohesion and also development of society.
Interesting. Thank you very much on that view. But I just want to get from the point of view on your side also as a regular user of the library. How satisfied are you in terms of the services and the activities and programs that are conducted? And do they really speak to the community where you are located? And also, do they really address the needs of the people at large?
No, definitely, definitely the needs of, or rather the services that the library provides, including the events that they usually host, they do serve the needs of the community at large. But I think what we can rather see as a growing problem, since I've been from a learner's perspective to a student and ultimately a graduate, is that the the community does not respond so well to the library's initiatives. Maybe this is because of long held views of the kind of people that go to the library and the kind of people that want to go to the library. So you'll have members of the community feeling like the library is only reserved for intellectuals from a state of
Mm.
learners in primary school straight up to adults who are in need of the services there. So people would come in just like Mr. Mkiza was saying. They will come in looking to make CVs, come in looking for a printout and all of that. But rarely do you find young adults sitting down at the library and feeding their knowledge and growing their literacy levels or skills for that matter. So the libraries are doing all that they can. I mean, they will host different events for entrepreneurs, for this and that and the other, just like Dr. Was saying at the beginning. But the thing is, the response of the community is not largely to the expectation of the library. So, as a matter of which, you find that there are big initiatives being put out, but they serve, if not the same quite faces and number of people, they do not get to reach to the broader size of the community. Hence, we now have to answer the question of how do we promote social cohesion at the same time keeping the level of integrating the community with this most important institution, which is a public library.
Interesting, Mr. Klaba. Let me invite you on the last point. How libraries can ensure that the latter that you just speak, it gets to the grassroots level, especially the issue of libraries being viewed, the old perception that libraries is only being used by people who are intellectual, or maybe it's reserved for the selected few, or maybe it's reserved for the learners who are still at school. How libraries now. I want you to advise us in terms of how you wish these matters can be addressed, and then we see more community members being engaged.
All right. No, I think my view at most will be based from my background of studying communications and journalism, also
Okay.
studying public relations management. So you'll understand that each and every institution has different stakeholders. Part of the stakeholders are people who work in the institution. Then you have stakeholders who are people who have interest in the institution. Then you have stakeholders, which is the community that surrounds the institution. all these stakeholders make up for what the institution is characterized as, presented to the people who receive it and presented to the people who run it. So now these two perceptions have to work together in order to create an influx of people who are going to use the services that the institution is giving. But to answer the question in layman's terms, I would say, first we need to check the demographics of the people who come into the library. Very important for us, right? So we see with okay, we have a lot of young kids or young learners who are coming from primary and secondary schools coming in. But apart from them, what kind of people do we have? Okay, we have a lot of job seekers, but by a lot, it means maybe 10, 15 within 1 week. But that means a lot of people in the community are looking for jobs, but they're not coming forward. So now we know with okay, we have job seekers, we have learners, and then maybe one elderly person once or twice when there's SASA issues, they would come. So what that does is that it allows us to see which sectors of society are we not servicing. But not only that, it allows us to see what problem exactly emanates the most within the community. For instance, from where I'm from, if you call a meeting and you say, young people, bring your CVs, we're going to be hiring, you'll get the biggest turnout. Sometimes that turnout is bigger than a turnout of a protest by any major political party. Why? Because there are serious economic discrepancies within the community. But now that means when the library holds these service center, SEDA, or these other micro business workshops that you would usually have the libraries hosting and presenting, we need a follow up of that. We need people who are going to say, I went to the library, I got help. And since then, this is how my life has changed and been transformed. So we need to play within the lines of PR. We need to make sure that people understand that the library is a place that can actually help you. So we need your testimonials. We need active databases. For instance, let's say we have what Mr. Mkiza was talking about, an ICT course that trains people on ICT, upgrades their literacy levels and whatnot. Then we keep the database of those people, and then we say, okay, whenever certain departments are looking for employees that they can take and all of that and all of the clerks, short-term, temporary employment, we know that at the library, there is a list of people who are within the database and their skills. This will mean that the library does not only work in its own self like an island, but it does work with other departments such as labor department to try and see how are they improving the unemployment rate, how do they affect such status scores and so forth. But lastly, in terms of young children, I mean your primary and secondary, yes, we do have a large influx of those, but I would like to believe it's not even 50% of what we can handle. So now that means we must develop groups which are like your social soul buddies, for instance. By the time I grew up, there was a show called Dynamite Deep Cliff Dudes. What that show was portraying is that these young children are each other's keepers. This will now delve into other societal issues that might bear a child from experiencing or witness their full potential. For instance, you have a child that grows up in a home that is highly affected by gender-based violence. This child is smart, they have a potential to become something different, but they are kept because of the shame that happens within the house. And no one will report that because elderly people who are at home or young adults who are at home not working and unemployed don't want to get involved in other people's businesses. But kids can be trained, more especially at a young age, taught to them with when your friend is having a problem, maybe this young girl is, it's the first time that they are experiencing puberty changes in their bodies. So the other young girl is like, wait, I learned this in the library that I need to talk to who and who. But all this is narrowed down to say some social issues that challenge children from coming forward towards the library are issues that parents might not see. Parents will never even get to know, neither do teachers, but other kids know them. So we need to build up positivity groups of kids that will know how to better take care of other kids. Meanwhile, the rest of society is dilapidating within unemployment and deteriorating from socioeconomic depression.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaba, for your inputs. Chairperson, let me open the floor for any questions for our panel members or point of view or comment. And Chairperson, you can help me with hands so that we identify who would like to ask a question. And also the panel members, you are welcome to either add on a point or share your point of view or either experience and so forth.
Chairperson, can I come in? It's Dr. Matubako.
Oh, doctor, yes, doctor.
Yes. I was listening to Mr. Sifiso when he talks about some of the challenges that maybe is hindering our visitation from our community to the libraries.
Yes.
What he's telling is true, because I think here at Mangaung we are lucky because currently we have about within Bloemfontein only we had about how many libraries? I think more than 7 in Bloemfontein. Okay. But now the geographical distance is also the problem, because you'll find that yes, we do have libraries, but now the Bloemfontein population is expanding on a daily basis. Now, what we can do, because now I know that for the Library Week as Mangaung, we didn't have a flagship program, but we have the ongoing programs. Yes. Mr. Sifiso mentioned also the partnership. We have partnership with CUT, where we have, there's a program now that is ongoing now. We call it a hackathon, where we are promoting the artificial intelligence access to youth. And then we also have a partnership with NYDA, where you'll find that, and CETA also, the unemployed youth will come to the library and pitch for their small business. And then they will get a stipend, and then from there, they can even be employed for a period of maybe, let me say, it will be a learnership or maybe internship. I can't differentiate between learnership and internship for maybe a year. And then we also we embrace this thing of STEAM. We also partner with some of the secondary schools here to promote that as STEAM, because now STEAM, AI, and robotics are relevant now to our community. Now we also have now skills development workshops, because now we do outreach programs. There are libraries or librarians will go to, we have National Hospital here. We have children with chronic diseases. They will go and give them hope. They will do storytelling. They will do puppet shows with them. They will even take toys to the hospital so that at least the children can have an opportunity to play with the educational toys. Then we have basic computer trainings for youth. But this year we decided that it's not only youth that are unemployed. You'll find that you become youth until you become an adult, and still you are unemployed. So we have now basic computer trainings for adult, let me say the community members. Then we train them for a month, we give them the certificate. But now if you are not competent enough, we will extend it with another month. We have parents, young parents. We have also programs for them where we give them support, because we don't have books that will guide you as a young parent. So we give them support. We also work with the people who are having Alzheimer's, and then we provide them with the space. It means the Department of Health will come to the library and then engage with those kids. There are so many things that we do, but I think we have to change our mind as librarians. Because the community that we are serving has changed. We are still behind, especially we public librarians. If we compare ourselves with academic librarians, we are a little bit behind. I think maybe it's because of maybe the interference of the politicians. And then we don't grow as we are supposed to grow. Sometimes we even forget that we are professionals, we are qualified librarians. You will remember when somebody tells you that, I'm a qualified person, then you wish, why can't I go to school? Only to realize that, but I'm also qualified. We are restricted. We need to advocate the library services. Now it's Library Week, but we are quiet. It was supposed to be on the radio. It was supposed to be all over the news. It was supposed to be, but it's even during July when celebrating Librarians Day, we are quiet. I think we are, I don't know, maybe we are polite, or we are shy, but we need to stand up and say we are here. Because remember that even when you go to the university, our profession is facing out. So we need to come up and be the.
Let me allow me to stop you there, Doctor. I just want to check if we have any hands before the time. We are left with 15 minutes now. Any hands on that point? I will give you an opportunity, Doctor, on the closing remarks. So can we have hands?
Mr. Mpiti's hand is up. Mr. Mzwandile, Mr. Mpiti, you can go on.
You can go ahead, Mr. Mpiti.
Afternoon, good people. I'm sure you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay. It's actually, I have two questions, but let me start saying that the topic in itself is talking about the social cohesion. So now the reality of the matter is that if you can check this economic survey, is called the Gini coefficient, is saying that South Africa is one of the unequal society ever. I'm saying this in relation to what I have been listening to. Actually, I have this question to Dr. Matubako. The reason why I'm saying this because I see that we have a disparity of service delivery in the very same department that we are working in. There was a speaker who talked about the Wi-Fi. That's the people who are coming to the library.
That's Miss Maseko. Yes, she talked about
exactly.
Wi-Fi and doctor as well.
So exactly. So the question I'm asking to the doctor is very straightforward. As a management, I'm told that is in the management of the department. What are they going to do with the disparity of service that we are having? Because now in Fixback, we don't have Wi-Fi. In other places, they have Wi-Fi. So you can't say yes, the topic is nice. We need to have social cohesion, but we are still equal. I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to say. The second question, the second question is directly to Dr. Matubako. In terms of acquisition and collection of books, he talked about the academic books that they try to bring the academic books so that they can relieve the poor people in terms of buying books. But are they, when they do the acquisition, are they looking with the demographics of the town? Because if I assume that if it's in Bloemfontein, then a lot of colleagues are there. So are they considering the demographics? I'm sure if you need clarity, I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to say, because the academic books to us in Fixback is a problem. We don't have academic books. And I'm glad this guy, the Mr. Kaba, you know, when you want to start a business, you have to do your market research. Who is going to be my customers? So he mentioned something that is very interesting, is that when you ask the people to bring their CVs, that's where you see a lot of people coming to the library. So that in itself is saying to us that the manner that we are responding to the challenges of these young people, we need to check it, a true self-assessment, whether are we responding to the challenge, because the challenges is unemployment. In instances in Fixback, we don't have Wi-Fi. So how are we going to say we want these young people to have a social cohesion? I'm sure I make sense.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I think I did get your questions. I think I'm gonna invite Dr. Matubako just to come in, just to make a correction. Dr. Matubako is not in the department; it's under the Mangaung Metro. So I think, Doctor, you can just give it just an overview in terms of in Mangaung, how do you go about the issue of the resources and how do you mitigate inequality in serving your community?
Thank you very much for those questions. This thing of inequality, I think is all over when you go to the libraries. The problem is that in the public libraries, our leadership is politicians. And when it comes to the budget allocations, we don't generate any income to the department. So when it comes to budget cuts, I think we are the first people to be, considered when it comes to the budget cuts. So that's why it will always bring this inequality, because when you go to, there was another public library in Gauteng, you can access Wi-Fi even when the library is closed. But with us, you only access Wi-Fi through a token when the library is open. So that inequality will always be there. Another thing of collection materials, remember that we are the public library and then we serve everybody. Yes, we do prioritize the prescribed books, but they are so expensive. And when we attended, I think Mr. Mzondile will also add on that. Previously, when we attended the AGM, our capacity building workshop, when our director was giving us a overview, the report, I think the financial report and everything, they also mentioned this thing of collection materials. I think what we must do first is to have needs analysis, to ask people what is it that we can buy, because sometimes we just passage books that are irrelevant and you find that they are stagnant, they are staying there on the shelf, people are not using them. Maybe if we can have this opportunity to do the needs analysis and ask the community, what books do you want? What is it that the library can do to you so that we can be in their radar? Because sometimes you'll find that we are not in the radar. Whatever the decisions we take, we don't even consider the community. When we do the policies, when we do the rules, even the norms, we don't consider the people that we are serving. That's where we fail them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I just want to just add on the issue, in the department, I think it was 2 years, if not 3, the issue of Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi, it was a study that was put out. It was actually a pilot study that it was done, and it was supposed to end last year. So the Wi-Fi issue, there were selected libraries that they were spotted, and then they want to see whether this project can be a success and it can be implemented permanently. So it's still a study in the department. So we hopefully, since they see the results that other libraries that were piloted are using this facility, maybe we will roll it out to all the libraries. Chairperson, do you still have any questions?
Mr. Mzwandile, no hands from my side. I cannot see any hands. Thank you. You can go on.
Okay, since we're still waiting for hand, just for a minute, I like the point that Mr. Chaba did actually talk about, especially when it comes to marketing. The issue is that our society is changing and is changing fast. And I wish with my panel members and through you, Chair, we can have a conversation in terms of how then do we go about linking the changing society with the resources that we have in our libraries and, adhering with the management and the politicians. If we can find that link, I think libraries can grow faster because as Dr. Matubako said, it's true. Academic libraries, they are growing faster because of when you look at their hierarchy, it is academic from point 1 to point 10. But with us, it's us and then politicians. I wish we can have that conversation so that we can invite different managers, we can invite library staff, and also invite the community so that we have that engagement, because seemingly we are working in divisions. You have the community that needs this, you have us providing this, and then the management saying the politician they can provide, they are saying we must provide this. I think that's the link that we need to have. And then any questions so far? No questions. Any comments? Okay, we are only left with 7 minutes. Let me use 1 minute per panel member. In closing, let me start with Mr. Kaba. In closing, can you share with us your closing remarks?
Thank you very much, Chair. I thought you'd put me last, but it's fine. I think I think the best thing that can ever happen to us, in as far as trying to reshape the impact of libraries, is for us to redefine what is the meaning of a library. Because clearly, judging from everyone else who has contributed to the discussion, one thing stands out: a library is something different per community, but it must have one meaning. It must move from being a place where you go to read books to being a place that is the center of dissemination of information at large. I mean, looking at what doctor said, Uguti, sometimes they go and they have those puppet shows for children who have chronic diseases and so forth. That means the library is a center of dissemination of information. So it is a lighthouse to the community. Once we master that, then we master the image of how the rest of the community relates to it. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Kaba. Doctor?
What I can say is that librarians, let us shine, let us shine, let us shine. We're doing a wonderful job. The only thing that we should always remind us is that we are doing the wonderful thing. We are developing the communities. We are educators without qualifications of teaching. But like you mentioned, Mr. Mzwandile, we need to have a meeting around the table, even including all those politicians, because now we can decide. But when politicians comes, maybe they might have their own different ideology, because now we are heading towards what is going to happen? The elections.
The elections.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So there is no budget for everybody. So we are also
That's true. That's true.
So we are affected again. We go back to square one. So we need to engage everybody so that we can have this kind of platforms where we can advise one another, not to pinpoint to say you are wrong, you are right, just to have one way to say how best can we take these libraries into the 21st century modern libraries. Thank you.
Thank you. Is Mr. Tabiso still with us, or is still struggling with the network? Chairperson? Still struggling.
I think he's still struggling. Apologies on behalf of Mr. Tavisa.
Okay, let's go to Ms. Ntabiseng. Your closing remarks?
My closing remarks will be partnership are the effective way of increasing library popularity among the communities that we serve. So as librarians, I would like to say to us all that let us make our libraries the heartbeat of the communities that we serve. Gone are those times where the libraries were just monuments sitting there and us, expecting people to come to us. Let us also go out and be part of that community that we serve, because that's where the success of fostering cohesion will be. That's where we will be able to be successful as information specialists, librarians, and people who are supposed to empower the communities that we are living in. So my closing will be that let us form strong partnerships with different stakeholders so that our working together can run smoothly. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. Ms. Maseko, your closing remarks in just 50 seconds.
Okay, 50 seconds. Okay. So I think what I'm gonna take from is gonna be from our speaker, Mr. Sfiso and Dr. Matubani. Firstly, being that we need to Matubani. Matubago, apologies. So I think feedback and adaptation, right? We need to engage and get feedback from those resistant community members to better understand their concerns and preferences with regards to the library services that we give. And with Dr. Matubako, what she said about advocacy and awareness, I think we need to increase our advocacy and we need to advocate for our libraries, guys. We need to get them out there. And I love what she says, that we need to have these conversations more and more to help one another, so that when we're advocating for these things, we already know it's okay, fine. I already got engagement from so-and-so and opinion from so-and-so, and it's helpful. So this is what I'm going to do for my community via my library.
Thank you very much. Babu Mkiz, closing remarks in just 50 seconds.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think I also have only one point that I picked up from the panelists, which is advocacy. I think we are not advocating enough for what we are doing, and we are not sharing enough from what we are doing in our spaces, in our libraries. Perhaps that is why we are underfunded, because we are not showing what exactly that we are doing in our libraries. It ends there with our communities. I think from this session, we need to go back to the drawing board and address one question, which is, are we the go-to expert? Thank you.
Thank you. The siren just cut you off. It's 2 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. Let me take this opportunity to thank our panel members who participated, and also Mr. Kaba from representing the community of Villiers, if I'm to just stand to be corrected. And also, Chairperson, thank you for the opportunity. I think as a closing remarks from myself, as a principal librarian in Thabo Mfutsanyana, managing over 15 libraries, is just to state that we need to go out there. We need to capture, our stories. We need to share our stories. We need to discuss. So I will take that to PACLIG so that we can see how we can go about that. And thank you very much, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Muzwandile. I think the one thing that stands up is advocacy, 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 until we cannot see advocacy anymore. Thank you so much to our panelists. Thank you for everyone who joined us today. Thank you, Mr. Muzwandile. Until next time, God bless.